Welcome back, everyone. Michael here with Offshore Citizen. I was chatting with a client, and I've had a few conversations along this line over the last little while, and I wanted to take a little bit of time and talk about it, which is the subject of why it is that we, or I, charge for initial consultation calls with people. So generally, in the way that we work with clients, we can do basically three different things to help you. We can help you to figure out what the best solution is for you. We can help you set up that solution, and we can help you maintain that solution. And I have kind of taken the view that you're free to mix and match and do whichever combination of these you prefer. I think generally we add the most value in the first, maybe, quite a bit of value in the second, and the third, it's maintenance. So maintenance is not so exciting, it's not so difficult. But certainly figuring out the best solution, people just don't understand the laws, they don't understand the consequences in terms of banking, in terms of operations, etc. So there's a lot of value we can add there. And one of the most basic ways that I try to make that accessible to people is to allow you to kind of do short calls, as opposed to, we sometimes work with clients on really extensive engagements or long-term retainers, etc. And so that's something more intense for more complex situations. But oftentimes people can get a lot of ground covered simply through a simple call. Now, there's some people out there who don't charge you for calls at all. And I had a recent experience with a client who had gone through this process, talking to a variety of different firms who don't charge for something. And I wanted to contrast and kind of show why it is that we do this, which is kind of designed both for my benefit and for the benefit of those who are doing the call. So we're going to discuss that a little bit today, and I would love to hear your feedback if you have something in particular to say. So let's dive in. Before we do, if you haven't, smash the subscribe button, to hit the notification bell, make sure you don't miss out on any of our videos. If you'd like help, feel free to reach out. You can book a call, calendly.com/Michael-Rosmer. There's a link in the description below, or send a message to our websites, offshorecitizen.net and offshorecapitalist.com. Okay, so basically it fundamentally comes down to this. Back in the day, I used to do kind of, especially if somebody was referred, kind of initial kind of like free calls for people. But the path at the time was very much, okay, I'm going to talk to you, and then the idea is you're going to work with us as a client. And I find that there's a few things that are true about that. One is, anytime you get on a call with anyone where the call is free, the tendency is that they're not going to give a lot of value. They're probably going to be vague. You're probably talking to a salesperson, not an expert. You might not be ever talking to an expert, but that's a whole other conversation. And so and that person really kind of pushing, like the whole reason for them to get on the call is to sell you something, right? And the reality is that this tends to actually ironically drive up the cost of what it is you're buying, because they have to do a lot of free calls in order to get one paid client. And I don't really like this. So to me, I look at it as there's a lot of people who have simple problems or problems that I can solve fairly quickly. So within 30 minutes to an hour, we can go through your situation and I can give you some really good actionable advice. And so that's sort of kind of the initial objective. Now, it's not true that everybody will be able to have their situation solved in that time. Sometimes your situation is simply far too complex. You've got lots of partners, you're in a country that has very complex CFC rules, you have, complex operations for your business, etc. And then we need to do, very in-depth, multi-week analysis, and we prepare big reports for you and run different scenarios and do this very rigorous analysis. But a lot of people don't need that, right? A lot of people are just saying, hey, listen, I need to just get clarification on some point. And they don't have an entry point if there isn't somebody who they can book a call and get some good advice from. So that's the first thing. It's a great way to be able to go there without burning my time, because frankly, I run 4 different businesses, and this is one of them, and I have a limited amount of time to deal with people. And so, I can't be responding to everybody. There's just limited time capacity. So there needs to be some sort of value exchange there. The second thing is, I found when that was the situation, there was a feeling like I needed to hold back, right? Because you're trying to hold back in order to try and sell somebody. You're kind of saying, okay, well, if you're calling me and my objective is to sell you, I don't want to tell you too much. And that kind of wastes both of our time, right? So I don't like that. What I much prefer is the fact that I take the approach that if somebody has paid, I will give you everything, right? And I don't need to feel like I need to hold back or anything, because I don't need some sort of ulterior motive. Yeah, it might turn out that we're going to work together. It might turn out that we're going to help you to get your second citizenship, get a golden visa somewhere, form a company, open a bank account, build some whole complex structure, etc. Any of these things are possible, but it's also possible that you just need some advice about where to form a company or where to get a bank account or something like that, and that can be dealt with in the confines of something fairly simple. And so I can bring a lot of analysis to that fairly quickly, just because of years and years of experience, having done this with people in over 60 countries, and having done that for about a decade now in lots of different scenarios. So anyway, I wanted to shed a little bit of light on that, because sometimes people ask and comment and trade, and I think the whole point in general in a lot of these things in life is you're never really getting something for free, right? If you think that you're going in getting something for free, the reality is, listen, if somebody has to jump on 10 calls, let's say they're an hour each, they put in 10 hours in order to make one sale. Well, what this means is that they need to charge that much more for whoever they're selling in order to compensate for all the time that they burned in the sales activity. And they're not going to be there just giving value the way that, ideally you would like. And so these are different approaches, right? One is not intrinsically better, but I think a person should know going in what it is that they're getting. And that's why we decided to structure things that we do. And at some point I may change it just due to my time constraints. That's kind of like my biggest limitation in life right now, is just a function of my time. There's lots of things I could be doing, and so I have to kind of pick and choose and try to isolate accordingly. But for now, I feel like this is a way that people, for the most part, tend to get a lot of value, and so I will continue to do it until either I run out of time or until it ceases to be of value to other people. So let me know what you think. If you have better ideas, I'm open to hearing them. Please put them in the comments below, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.